submarine fans. It's Eric with the subvet.com coming to you from Bottom Gun Coffee Company Studios in Aurora, Colorado. Hey, it's another great day here on 15 Minutes of Submarine Life. With us today, I have Submarine Veteran Judd Spitzer. How you doing, Judd?
Hey, doing great.
Yeah, so I'm glad you came on the podcast. I appreciate you spending some time with us today and talk about why you went in the Navy and what you did in the Navy, and maybe a little bit what you're doing now. That'll probably take up a lot of time to talk about the Navy. But why'd you go in the military?
Well, that's an interesting story. I was getting ready to go to college, because that was back in the 80s. That was about 87.
Mm-hmm.
And really, a lot of people didn't go into the military back in the 80s, as you probably know.
Kind of like post Vietnam, where people, but Reagan was kind of bringing it on the upswing. But you're right, it wasn't really a big thing.
Right, because it's all volunteer force at the time,
mm-hmm.
and everybody was focused on college. You were either college bound or something of that nature, and I was prepped for college. And I was starting to look at schools, and I got accepted to Cal Poly Pomona, and looking at the prices, and my parents were like, I'll hawk the house and, send you to school. And then you're hearing these statistics that 50% of people who go to college drop out. And I'm like, yeah, my parents are going to spend half the value of their home to send me to college for me to drop out.
Right.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not a good idea, is it?
So I had been taking the ASVAB like every year in high school just for fun. Hey, you can get out of class for a couple of hours and go take the ASVAB.
It's funny. That's a good idea. Yeah, it's true.
Right?
I use the same thing.
Right? So you're like, I'm going to take this stupid test. It's a battery of tests, 10 of them. And, you're in there with some pretty cool kids from the class. I remember one of our valedictorian was in there. And we're like, how fast can you go through that drill of all of the, additions?
Oh, yeah, the time multiplication test.
Yeah. You have 2 minutes, whip through this test.
Right.
And so I score 90s in the 90s, like 98, 99, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And of course, Army recruiters are calling me up all the time.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm going down the Army recruiter. I'm going to go check it out. Well, the guy that was supposed to be there wasn't there. So while I was standing around waiting, the Navy goes, hey, you got a minute? I wanted to just show you some stuff. So, and he was he was a submariner, one of the guys in the office.
Really? A submariner?
Yeah,
okay.
Submariner recruiter in the office. But he wasn't actually my recruiter. My recruiter was an IC. Yeah, but the submariner, he was a FC2 or FT2. FTG.
And some of these rates are probably gone now too. You're talking about. So.
Oh yeah.
Some people say like, "What the heck's an IC?" or this and that.
Oh yeah. Well, they're gone from submarines. They've been converted. Yeah. They're now ETs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Anyways, I didn't mean to distract you.
Yeah. No. And so it was. There was this whole push on nuclear power, and the Army couldn't touch that $30,000.
It was a huge amount of money. Yeah.
Right. They were like, here's your career path. We'll give you $6,000 just for enlisting. Plus, you're going to get this education. And they were like, your education's the equivalent of Harvard. An associate's degree. Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah. And so I'm like, I'm a college bound guy. So this is exactly, I could sell this to my mom and dad. That hey,
this is because I joined the Navy same time. This is bringing back lots of memories.
It's like, oh, hey, this is sounding actually pretty good because I was really not going to join the Army, to be honest with you. I just went down there to listen to bullshit, and but the Navy really was kind of selling it, and I was like, and I was eating it up, and. So then the one recruiter came back and he said, yeah, your ASVAB scores are amazing. Well, if you want to sign up, we will guarantee you this school, and there were very certain guarantees that they were going to get in writing.
When you went in and what your pipeline was exactly.
And they would not guarantee a rate for nuclear power, but they would let you have a choice in order of what you like.
Yeah, I don't think they guaranteed rates, even for the S.W.S.E. It was S.W.S.E. program at the time.
Right.
It wasn't even a rate guarantee there. The same thing.
Yeah. So I ended up signing up, and then of course I have a medical problem that prevents me from getting to my date.
Okay.
Yeah, I had an ingrown toenail, and they shot
Well,
me back.
those are serious. I mean, it's life threatening.
Well, there was this lady down at the head doctor at MEPS in San Diego where I went in, and she was also known as the Dragon Lady of MEPS. True story. And she was like, "You are not going. Go home. Come back when you fix your toe."
Fix your toe. You're like, well, what?
And you know what? I'm glad I did it, because that would have been 8 to 10 weeks of miserable life. Especially
if it's real bad, yeah. I mean, it cuts in, you can't run or anything, yeah.
So I had laser surgery to have it removed and deadened.
They had lasers back in the 80s? I thought that was just
right?
on Star Wars.
It was crazy. It was one of those zap things. And had it done. My mom took care of it. She was like, get you going.
Right.
And I can remember, I don't know if you remember this. I was 17 when I originally signed up. So the recruiter had to go to my parents and get permission. And my mom cried when she signed that paper.
Yeah. No, my parents were this. We getting them out of here. We got a plan.
I know. But they were really super proud afterwards. It was very good.
Well, that's good.
That's good. But it was about an
extra...
So
you signed up for the nuke program, nuclear power
I did.
pipeline. Okay.
Yep. And so I go to Orlando, get through boot camp, no problem, made it, no issues at all.
Shout out for my hometown. Anyway.
And Orlando. And then I got the rate that I wanted, which was EM, electrician's mate. That's what I wanted. So 16 weeks of school.
When do you choose the rate in nuclear power? Is it after A or is it during A school or
during boot camp?
Really?
Yeah. So they have classification in boot camp is what they called it, and you go sit in front of basically.
Well, what makes them determine that? I mean, because I would figure they'd want to get you through your initial school to figure out. I mean, it's just usually one of the things they choose where people go.
So that way you get to find out if you're a fireman or a seaman. So if you're an ET and you got a 26-week-long A school, ETs are seamen, right?
Right.
And if you're a electrician or a machinist, you're a fireman, right?
Okay.
And so that determines the stripes that you're going to have when you're walking in boot camp at the end.
I did. Wow, right from the beginning. Okay.
Yeah, and that's why, because you have those colored stripes on your uniform.
Yeah, they were red ones, weren't they?
Yeah, I had red stripes, so I was Fireman Spitzer.
Man, you're like, man, I ain't made about town like the red stripes.
Yeah, I got
like
3
the red
stripes. Yeah, that's it. And I mean, I could tell you, I'm sure, and you have boot camp stories like crazy as well.
Yeah.
But then after that, 16 weeks, boom, I'm putting on a crow right on top of that, which was great.
Yeah.
And you're getting paid. So I make it through.
Yeah. Not even in the military that long. 3rd class. Yeah.
Right. Let's see. In 6 months, I'm at E4. And and so it was pretty cool. And I made it through nuclear power school's A school, nuclear field A school. Okay. And then they send you to power school, and I was there for 8 weeks.
Is that prototype or is that different?
No, that's different.
That's different.
So they basically
that mixed up. Okay. Good.
Yeah. Prototypes are like in Boston, Spa, New York, and Idaho, and now they've got one in Charleston.
So you finish your A and C before you go to prototype.
Well, there's no C school. It's just A school, nuke school.
Okay.
And I fail out of nuke school, academically dropped. Okay. I didn't actually, quote unquote, fail per se, but my academic performance was so low that they felt that I would have failed, and it was at a proper time to let me go. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, were you getting disinterested in the coursework?
It was really super hard.
It was. I mean, because I know it's really hard. It's no joke. I mean,
I would. So they put people on
this the hardest college course as far as I'm concerned.
So they have these. When you're done with school for the day, you have different kinds of hours that they can put you on. Yeah. They can put you on mandatory hours of study, and they can put you on voluntary and I was on voluntary study hours. And what it means is that they knew that I would be there busting my ass, that they didn't have to order me to be there. And so that I was trying as hard as I possibly could. And I was in there with the instructors trying to learn the stuff, but it was just too many different courses, too much, and I was not prepared for what was coming.
Now, if you're comparing this to like the physics in college level, and I don't know, I don't remember what you said you got your undergraduate in, but I mean, is it equivalent? Because I've always envisioned nuke school like it's like taking 2 years of school and shoving it down your throat in 6 months, or would that be?
Oh, it's definitely I would say bachelor degree level mathematics.
It's just they're hitting you fast with it. You got to swallow it and understand it quickly, instead of where in college you might have more time to work with it. Does that make sense?
Well, you have that's for sure, because you're in there every day. You take those classes every day. In college, you take the class once every
that's what I'm saying.
2 days.
College is hard. I'm not going to take that away, but it's kind of leisurely. The pace is different.
The pace is different. Yeah. And the other part is the classes are. There's nothing that can leave that building.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't take it home to study. You study. Yeah, it's got to be
there's no study in your barracks room.
Yeah, that's another good point. Yeah, so that's why I wanted to have this conversation. It's kind of linked in the podcast a little bit, but I think that's a valid point.
Place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you decide it's not your thing, or they decide it for you it's not your thing.
Right. So I had two choices, right? The two choices are go to the fleet as an electrician's mate, and I could leave right there and then.
Surface fleet. Right.
Surface fleet. They would have probably sent me to an aircraft carrier. And I was like, no!
That isn't going to happen.
And so then they said, oh, we have a couple options for you that you can choose from. So one is you could be a radioman, a sonar tech, or S.W.S., but you probably won't get that S.W.S. thing. So, but go ahead and you guys can all choose what you want. So I put in radioman, sonar tech, and I didn't even put strategic weapon system stuff on the
it wasn't even a choice, huh?
It wasn't even a choice that I wanted.
Oh, okay.
So they came back and they said, you're all going to SWS. And then they said, and if you don't like it, you can still go surface. I said,
it's always surface.
Take it. I'll take it. So from there I went to submarine school, because then you still didn't know what rate you were going to get.
Okay.
So
you went right into the submarine school. Bam! You show up as. That's why there was guys in my class with third class on.
That's right. So I was the third class out of nuke drop.
Because you're always like, how's that guy third class already?
Yeah. Because nukes don't go to sub school; they just go straight to the boat.
Straight to the boat. Yeah, I did know that. So.
Yeah. And then so go to sub school, and of course, as you know, if you're what do you call it? In one of those 6-year programs, that's what they were called. You have to get 80% in sub school to go on to your next school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the next point I was going to bring up. It doesn't matter what school. I mean, at least I know the submarines. I can't say for any other school. Highly competitive, and they expect they got a percentage. And S.W.S.E might have been higher than 80%, but I mean, it was very easy to go. If you weren't paying attention, you could go on night study easy in sub school.
If you were a striker rate, then you only had to get a 70% to pass. But they said if you're, any of the electronic rates or whatever.
Yeah, I think it was higher, like you said. I mean, it's been so long. I'm glad you remember it. But I remember it being something like that, to that effect.
Yeah, and submarine school was weird and crazy, and probably one of the most unique places I had been in Groton, Connecticut. Mm-hmm. I got there in January of '89, and it was cold as hell.
Yeah. Thank you for not using the bomb there.
Right? Yeah, it was super cold. I remember the wind chill. It was just like, oh my God. And I was not prepared going from Orlando weather to Groton, Connecticut weather.
Right.
So that was crazy. But it was, all of the different things, and the get wet trainer.
That was so much fun. I loved that trainer. I would have done it 3 times. They would let me. Can I do it again?
But that really is an amazing thing to be in. If
Mhm.
anybody ever gets a chance to go in a trainer like that, it's dangerous. It's the real deal. I mean, I saw strong backs fly across the room
Right,
that
yeah.
could have killed somebody.
They might have let like Boy Scouts or something go through there one time. Not anymore. Lawyers would be all over that. You're right. Some kid got hurt. Be all over.
Oh, it's crazy. And then from there went down to S.W.S.E school in Dam Neck.
Mm-hmm. Good old Va Beach. Yeah.
Oh my God. And so and they messed with us big time because they hated the nuke drops because we had already gone. It was in fact it was the dumbest thing for them to do.
Was the instructors camping on you when you were?
Oh yeah, they hated us nukes because we all had all that basic electricians training. So there was no real reason for us to be there. We were wasting the government's money by going to another school. They should have said, come over here and test out, and we will send you to C school.
I'm just surprised they didn't just sit you right into C school. Other than the only thing I can think of is, I mean, did you guys get any of the computer? You remember towards the end you had physics and computer?
Yeah,
maybe that would be it that I can think of.
And that was really just logic circuits, and that wasn't really that big of a deal. That was, it wasn't even that important to have.
Right.
I mean, but I mean, I guess it was to some extent. But I mean, it was the CompTran.
Yeah, some people say it's important. It just depends. We probably shouldn't say it wasn't important. I mean, it's important. But
right. Google CompTran 10.
Yeah, I was trying to remember the CompTran 10. Thank you.
There you go.
So what year did you go through? I mean, what part was it? 88? You were going through Dam Neck?
89.
89. Okay.
Yeah, because I went to boot camp in 88, in April of 88. So went to Orlando. I left Orlando in December of 88.
So I was only a year ahead of you. So I mean, maybe not even 9-10 months ahead of you. So
right,
we got into about the same guys still, the same instructors, everything at that time.
Oh, there probably were.
Yeah,
and it was just great. Do you remember being in Dam Neck and being put on the line and they made you yell, "The count on deck is"?
Oh yeah. You were bringing back all kinds
highly motivated, truly dedicated, soon to be submariners, sure.
It got worse than that though. After because it was like, from my understanding, it turned into like boot camp the whole time. You know how we got to relax as soon as you got the. I remember when it got to. I'm getting off. This is your part, but I remember getting to submarine school and you're all messed up from boot camp and you're scared of your own shadow, and the guy's like, "Oh, well, go do something. Go and leave. Why are you still standing here?" I'm like, "We can leave,"
Yeah.
But and then it just got. I mean, it wasn't relaxing, but you got more in a relaxed atmosphere through the training, if you will. But the training was no joke. Like I said, it was high compression. What I always liked about training throughout my entire Navy career was the competitiveness. I mean, like we'll get into that later when we're at NO2.
Yeah.
In class, it just it'd be 100 points or 102 points, 2 points extra credit. You better got that 2 points or you failed it. Oh, you got 100? You rocked that test, because you didn't get the 2 extra points. And I always liked that about the Navy, the real competitive side of it. Anyways, so we're at the end of your school period, well, A school, what we're saying, and we're getting ready to select rates. So what rate were you looking at? I mean, there was a wide range of rates at that time. I think C3 was still available, so you had C3, FTB, MT, and you had the NAVT, and then C4 backfit, C4 trident, West Coast banger, and D5 was coming online.
Right. So I wanted to go, both me and a friend of mine who I came from Orlando with, Bill McGuire, we were both nuke drops.
Yeah.
Wanted to go to the West Coast, and there were some billets for there that we saw, and we asked for those, and we were waiting to hear, and they said nothing about orders, nothing. We couldn't get the schoolhouse to talk to us for anything.
Oh, really?
So as good third classes, we did what anybody would do. We contacted our detailer.
Of course, that's what they're there for, right?
That's what they're there for. We said, "Hey, we're some stupid students down here at."
He was like, "Who are you again?"
I said, "Could you?" We were told that because of our placement in the school, that we would get these billets, and we would really like to go and just get us some orders, and we'll be on our merry way.
Yeah. Thank you. Hope you're having a great day, Mr. Detailer.
And guess what? And Mr. Detailer hooked us up.
He did. So do you even question why you call? I mean, I would like the VIN area. Who are you guys again?
It was
Where
amazing.
are you at? What boat you on? Oh, I'm on USS Damn Neck. That's what boat I'm on.
So it was great because he had to fill those class billets, but you know the schoolhouse.
So it just worked out, and he was happy to help you out. But that did a work because there's some guy that was at the school that was in charge of that.
Oh, I'm sure there was, but they weren't doing their job.
Yeah, well, they probably weren't happy. What did they do again?
So I don't know if you remember, but if you can envision Dam Neck at the time, there was a big like soccer field, ball field, and all the way at the end was a big flagpole, and then there was a PSD building over there where you could get ID cards and stuff.
I remember that big field you're talking about now. Yeah.
And that was different than the school's headquarters. So we went over there to that building, and that's where we ended up getting our orders done and everything. We didn't deal with the schoolhouse for that.
Yeah, I remember personnel over there. Now it's coming back. Yeah. So
because there was things that shenanigans that was happening on that base all the time. When I first got there, there was a woman that was the captain, the commanding officer of the base, and she had busted a bunch of guys who were feeding Alka-Seltzers to seagulls out there. On the base.
You know, it's things that happen. It's no big deal. Why do I remember that? I remember that incident for some reason.
Isn't it funny?
Somebody told me
every memory that you have.
So I because I would have been gone by the time you classed up, and I'm like, I remember somebody else doing something stupid, like so they could have been the other guys doing that.
No, but there's all sorts of stupid
characters. Yeah.
I bet you could just go online right now, make a Facebook group, fucked up shit at Dam Neck, and the thing would be just filled up with people. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I had beer machines there when I was in the barracks when I was on the boat in Groton. So
they had strippers that came on the base at Dam Neck over there.
Yeah, the shifting sands. Yeah. We got to stay away from the topic. We never went to those places. I don't know anything.
We never went to those places, but we were aware of them.
I was busy writing home letters to my mom, telling her how busy I was.
Well, that was the same town, Dam Neck, Virginia Beach, where it was dogs and sailors keep off the grass.
Yeah, that's true. Boy, I got some crazy memories in Virginia Beach too. Yeah, you're right. There's just there's drama anywhere, but that's just part of being in the Navy. It's some of the fun.
But we're there as a student. I mean, I did go over to Norfolk Base to check that place out, and I went out to Fort Story, and I was at Little Creek. I really checked everything out while I was there. That was probably it was a great place to be stationed for exploration. Mm-hmm. If you want
seeing the sights, and a lot of people don't appreciate it's a lot of history in that area.
We went to the battlefields,
Civil War. Yep.
Yeah, all that stuff. But as from the perspective of the schoolhouse, oh my God, it was horrible. That you couldn't
kind of blind you. Yeah, but there's people. You're right though. There's people that just went right through that pipeline and never went and saw the sights, if you will. So it's a good point to bring that up. So you're heading out to Bangor. So you get out there and you fly in and they greet you there
I drove.
Oh, you drove all the way. Okay, so you drove all the way to Bangor.
Yeah, I drove to Bangor. It was great. My cousin drove with me.
By this time, you've been in the Navy like 3 years because you were in nuke school, right? No, I know it was not that long.
It was a year.
I know. It just seemed like 3 years, right?
Right? So by the time you're done
I've been in the Navy a long time. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, I had over a year of the Navy at that point in time because I get to the boat. Mm-hmm. I wasn't even at the boat yet. I still had FTB Sea School to go through.
Right.
So you get up to Bangor to go to Sea School, and that was cool. That was the first time I felt like they were really treating me like I was in the Navy. Yeah. So, was once you got to
I'm going all right. Yeah, it's kind of funny how you feel like you get some seniority at some places, and the Navy always sets you back. Oh, yeah, you were, but now you're nobody again. So how you like that?
Yeah. I mean, and that building, you go into TTF, and that was back in the day when, we were still fighting the Cold War.
Yeah.
And, and there weren't, the Bangor just basically had its last trident delivered over there, which I forgot which one that was. Was it? It wasn't Nevada. What was it? Maybe it was Nevada.
That sounds about right.
To Bangor.
Then they started building them for Kings Bay at that point.
You know, it had to be because Tennessee's the 734 boat.
Yeah. Yeah, it could
So
have been
the
in Nevada. That sounds about right. You might be
733, I
wrong,
believe,
but
is
it's
Nevada.
got to be close. Anyways.
So, anyways, that, and I was on the 730 boat.
Mm-hmm.
So, but all of the COs were were captains. They weren't commanders like they are now.
Yeah.
So these are all full bird guys.
The reason I was told back then is because it drafted as much as an aircraft carrier.
Right, because that was a stepping stone making out for flag. You needed that. So for those guys who weren't
driving the big ships.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe submarine's a big ship like that, but it's a big beast. So did you have any memories through going through your sea school? Yeah, TT.
Well, you know, interesting for and I don't know if it was like this for you guys, but our school was night school. So,
well, yeah, depending on what lab. Some labs were nights. I remember it was back. Most regular training was day. So I was C3 MT. So I stayed at Damneck.
No, all of our training, 100%. I would say 100% was all at night.
Okay.
We started. Was it 8 or 10 o'clock at night?
Were they running 2 classes, like daytime classes too, and a nighttime class? Like maybe SW was during the day or something, or.
No, because the way it worked, this is how it worked. They ran advanced
team trainers,
school.
Maybe. I'm just guessing.
Right. Yes, team trainers were after, from like 5 till 9 or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And then the advanced schools, all the advanced schools were in the daytime.
Maybe
so
that's what it was.
Like
yeah,
OAG, temps. Advanced solders classes, all those things were in the daytime. And then the C schools they did late at night, where they had access to all of the labs, and
everybody was out of your way. That makes sense.
Right. So it was super quiet, but there was, so you basically were off all day long.
Mm-hmm.
You just had to show up at nights, but you slept in the daytime. Mm-hmm. And so that was, I lived in the barracks there in Bangor for quite a while before I got to live out in town.
Yeah.
And at that time, I don't know what it's like now, but back in those days, they had signs. It was like in big stencil letters all over the doors. No women allowed.
Right. I think I remember something like that at some places, not everywhere, but
in Bangor it was that way. It was like, wow, no girls. And then there were some women on the base. They were far there. Because they ran the tugboat. There were women on tugboats and things like that.
Kind of stuff. So, are you finished sea school? And,
yeah. There's nothing special.
You're FTB, right?
Yeah.
FTB. So, were you able to pick a boat, or they just kind of assigned you the boat type thing?
They just assigned us a boat. I don't remember. It was no big deal to me. I didn't care.
So did you hit the boat and off crew, or?
Yeah. I got lucky. It was right in the beginning of off crew, and
you would have got lucky if they were out to sea. Then you got more time off. But
It was off crew, and then but only for like a couple of weeks, and then the boat had come back in, and we went right into refit.
You're heading out to sea, getting it. So
wait, no, I take that back, because I remember. We were in refit assist. No, that's not true.
Well, that's why.
Yeah,
was an extended refit, or just because I have no idea how Trident refits. I've rode all the Tridents, as you know, because I was stationed with you, but I'd never done a refit on one, so I don't have anything to compare it with. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
It was a long refit. That's the thing. It was like 3 weeks or something like that of refit. So that's why I guess I'm thinking it must have been. Because I was in, I don't know. Some reason I feel like when I first got to the boat, I was painting within days of showing up. And then we were in off crew for a while. And then went to the boat. And then so I should think about this pretty seriously. I'll have to look at my qual card, wherever it is.
And we'd like to thank you for listening to 15 Minutes of Submarine Life. This is part 1 of a 2-part series with Submarine Veteran Judd Spitzer. And we'd like to thank our sponsor, Bottom Gun Coffee Company, folks, is coming into Thanksgiving, so it's time to go on to bottomguncoffeecompany.com's website and check out some of their premium coffee selections to share with your family on the holidays. Hey, we'll see you next time, and this is Eric with the Subvet.
This podcast was brought to you by Bottom Gun Coffee Company, the taste that's qualified.